Good evening, Chit Chat Pod. Good evening. And we are back with our final episode celebrating Women History Month for the month of 2024, which is the observation month for women history. And we've had some phenomenal guests that come on. And I'm so excited that we got an opportunity to highlight these women who are doing major things in their communities, in their lives, building themselves up as entrepreneurs, life coaches, business women, politicians. So we've had a array of different women who was represented on a panel for this month, and we probably could have had countless other women who could have been on here showcasing some of the contributions they've have contributed to the communities, to their jobs, to people in their lives, their villages. So I just want to say thank you to those who've already came and shared with Chit Chat Podcast. And today, as we conclude the month of Women History Month, I have a dear friend of mine who will be on, and I'll let her give her bio here shortly. But Women History Month, we cannot let this month go by without thinking about the major contributions women have provided, not only to our world, not only to our communities. If we look in our day-to-day lives, there's so many women that we look up to who doing some great things, who are contributing to society, being mentors and ministers and life coaches and different capacities that we work in, because that's what women do. We wear different roles. We got different hats that we put on. So, and all these women are a very great example of that. They wear many roles and hats, and they do it very well. That's why I would like to take the opportunity to give them their flowers and to highlight them for their contributions, and to say from our Chit Chat Podcast platform that we appreciate them. We see them shining, doing their thing, and we just want to highlight them and let everybody know what we see them doing if they don't already know, and then give them an opportunity to provide the resources that they offer from their businesses and from their professional lives. So without further ado, our Women History Month 2024 theme is still in effect: women who advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion. I mean, we're in an election year, so I mean, it is so important when we see women who are in politics, who's running for office, who running for various positions, whether it's in the Congress, in the Senate, in the House, as judges, as superintendents, the school board. So, our local elections just as important as our big elections and our big primaries that are happening, like the president election. So we don't want to excuse any of those minor elections and those local elections in our local towns and cities. So please make sure if you have not voted, because women, that's our right now. We have that right. We not always had that right. So we have that right now. Make sure you're a registered voter, that you're out there using your voice to vote, because it's important. They want to take away so many rights of us women right now. We've seen that with the Roe versus Wade situation. So let's not give them an opportunity to take our voting rights. Let's use our voice and do that. But without further ado, we're going to bring on Coach Gwendolyn.
Oh, hello.
Hi, how are you, sis?
I am well, sis. I am well. It is good to see you. You're doing great things. It is an honor for you to have me on your Chit Chat podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that we got an opportunity to get you on. I hope it won't be the last time you come on. I know
Hopefully.
you I know you share different capacities, so that you work in different avenues and hats and roles that you wear. But we would definitely like to have you come back on for other segments for different things. But today we want to highlight you as one of our women who are doing great things, who wear many hats in her day-to-day lives, who contributing, to society, to her peers, to friends and family. So we want to highlight you this month with Women History Month as a woman who we know that advocate for the 2024 National Women History Month theme is women who advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion. And I'm
Yeah.
like, my sis right there. She does
Thank
that every day.
you.
You
Honor.
know,
Thank you so much. Thank you
you're
so much.
welcome. You're welcome. So give Chit Chat Podcast a bio of who Coach Gwendolyn Knighton is.
Oh, wow. Well, first, Coach Gwendolyn Knighton, I am a life coach, certified life coach. I'm an assistant pastor at Kingdom Liberty Apostolic Church here in Valdosta. Also, I'm a 911 supervisor here at Cockwood County 911 Center in Moultrie, Georgia. Um, I'm now a BLS provider as well. So that ties in with me coming outside of the walls of 911. So it's different things that I do, and it's just a pleasure to be able to help on either side of the fence.
Awesome. And before we get into like your total interview, that's a lot, sis. How do you do it?
With the help of God, with the help of God, my mentor, Dr. Yolanda Payne, which is my pastor. She is somebody that mentors me, the accountability that she gives to me, the ability not to get outside of everything that I'm doing and to remember who I am as a woman, although that I wear these roles, and
Mhm.
to stay humble as I carry these roles out. Because if not, then you don't have the accountability, you don't have a mentor. And a lot of times we look at having a mentor as if, it's taken away from you, but it actually adds to you when you have a mentor, somebody that has walked this road before, because I don't know it all. I don't know all the crooks and the crevice of things. So to have that mentor and that accountability helps me out a lot.
And I'm glad you said that because a lot of times when we become adults, we feel
Mm-hmm.
like, we can't be taught things and then we
Oh,
can't be mentored. And a lot of times we fall because we don't have that accountability as well.
yeah,
So you saying all those things about what your mentor, who she is to you and what she's brought to you, and the things that she allowed, to for you to mature in and grow
yes,
in. That's
yes,
important because we're forever learning.
yeah,
There,
yeah.
when we start learning, then we start living.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's important that you brought that up, and I'm glad that you was receptive of somebody mentoring you in a capacity that you never had the opportunity to be in, and
Right,
now you're flourishing and paying it forward to somebody else. So that's
right.
awesome.
Absolutely.
So tell us, what is a life coach and what do you do as a life coach?
uh Life coaching for me, and my business that I started, I graduated from my pastor's academy, Yolanda's coaching academy. I graduated from her academy, which is a accredited academy. And with life coaching for me, because I cater to women. I cater to women, not excluding men, but for us as women, I help the women to balance themselves, give them strategies for the goals that they have set, to break down those barriers of fear, anything that have perception to make them think that they can't do anything or that they're less in. I help give them that balance, and I show them the way and help promote them doing that personal development as they try to develop who they are as a woman, who they are as a person. Because sometimes, as women, we're labeled just for one thing when we have so many diversity of things that we can do, and we're taught to be limited for one thing. Let's just be real. A lot of times they say, hey, we have the children, we be home, we cook, we clean, we do all those things, but to be in the business world, to be in leadership, we're not less than that. And so we have to go in and dig deep inside of that lady to find that little girl, now that woman, and show her this is who you really are, not who people say that you are.
Right. And that's profound because sometimes we look at the fact that some people be like, I'm just a mom, or I'm just a,
Yeah,
I'm just a such and such. Baby, that's important.
It
because
is.
at the end of the day, when you look at all the other stuff that you're doing attached to that,
Right.
wife, sister, mom, aunt, auntie, whatever the case may
Yeah.
be, there's other roles attached to that. And women, we downplay it so
Yes.
much because we operate in them daily, and we think, oh, it's nothing. I'm just a so and so. I'm just a,
Right.
but
Right.
it's important that we know we can't downplay what we
That's
do,
right.
because at the end of the day, when it's time to step in that corporate world or that corporate business or that meeting or whatever, we got to be the boss that we know that we can be when we're handling business in the house, when we're
That's right.
handling business in our families, that kind of thing
Yes.
plays, because it has for me.
Hmm.
Everything that I've done in my home, or in ministry, in church, or whatever, when I'm in the office, I operate in that same capacity, probably even more, because I've been pushed and
Absolutely.
and and, and I propelled that way, because I've had that OJT,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
all those other roles. So that, I'm glad you mentioned that. So when people are reaching out to Coach Gwendolyn, what are some important things that you tell them on your life coaching journey, that people are needing so much right now in their lives? What are some things that are some tools that are important that you're coaching and mentoring to them about?
The main thing that we try to give as a life coach is, the first and foremost thing is that people have to understand, whether it's man or woman, that the coach is there to coach. 80% of your outcome belongs to you. You're going to have to do the work whenever you come. 20%, as far as the coach, that is me. I'm the person to cheer you on. I'm the person that holds you accountable for those things, to check in on you, to make sure, okay, are we following up with these goals? Are we digging in deep? And anytime you are coming to a life coach, any life coach for that matter, you have got to be willing to put in the work. The
Mhm.
only way that life coaching does not work for you is because you did not work it. And when you come, be ready to work. And a lot of times we have set things in motion. And one of the things I love that my mentor has taught us, that we don't prepare people for obstacles to come. We set these goals, but we don't say, well, what if this stumbling block comes in front of you? Do I just stop? Do I just give up? No. We find out a strategy to either overcome this goal, go around this goal. How do I incorporate it in to still meet those goals and those things that I want to do in life? Because the stumbling block, those things are those obstacles that come up, that is not there to hinder you. Along the way, it's going to propel you to go to the next place where you're supposed to be. But it's your perceptive on how you look at it. And that's what we have to change a lot of times, because we've been taught failure is the wrong thing. If you fail, you get that red mark, girl, it's the end of time. It is the
Mhm.
end of time. You know how it was in school. You get that red pin mark on your paperwork, it's over. But no, it doesn't stop there. That says, okay, there's a development here. We need to work on this. What is the strategy for this? Once we get that strategy, let's get this goal set forward, and you can overcome that obstacle as well.
Oh, I love that. That's good right there. It reminded me, we had our message on Sunday with our pastor was, it hurt me, but it helped me. And
Yes,
so the perspective was, it's not when people, if people hurt you, it's when people hurt you. And when
absolutely.
people hurt you, you got to be in the mindset to say, either I got to look at this as the person who hurt me, or I got to look, because he said something on the lines that everybody that hurts you is not a bad person, because
That's right.
people dealing with so many things. Life is lifing with people. People are in different seasons of their lives. So we hold everybody accountable who hurt
Right.
us to a bad person, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And he gave the reference to in Matthew, when Jesus said, when Judas brought the people in to arrest him, you
Yes.
know, he didn't say, that I told y'all somebody was going to portray me. He didn't
Right.
point Judas out like that. He said, friend, do what you need to do.
And
Come
do
and
it quick.
Yeah, come and do what you needed to do.
Yes.
And he called him friend.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, he knew Judas was, but he knew that Judas was acting in the in the way of greed at the
Mm-hmm.
time. He was trying
Mm-hmm.
to, make money or whatever off of it. So he knew he was acting in, but he knew ahead of time that he was going to betray him, but he didn't hold that. He didn't
Exactly.
hold it against him, you know, and and a lot of times as a coach, we have to, as a life coach, you have to tell people like, yeah, don't hold that against yourself. Give
Right.
yourself grace to give you,
Right.
red, like you said, that red mark is not at, the end of the world.
It's not
So,
the
and
end.
people, yeah, people start seeing that, they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what, I can do this. There's something past here. It's
Absolutely.
gonna, yeah. And that's why I want to ask you, how important is ministry then with your life coaching position? Because it's 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 almost like you ministering doing your life
Yes.
coaching.
Yes.
It's they work hand in hand. And I don't know sometimes if you can take the minister hat off when you're life coaching, because you always want, when you're ministering, you're meeting the needs of the people. So you
Mhm.
always want, what's best for them, and what's best, push them to a point that they want what's best for
Right.
them.
Right.
So how is that? Is that what's happening with you when you, I mean, coinciding with coaching
Um,
and ministry?
Sometimes that can flow over, but I'm thankful for the type of training that I have received, that I
Mhm.
know when to take off ministry as pastor role when I need to walk into coaching role. Because with the ministry, it has taught me how to be diverse and to know that I'm going to have so many different people to walk into my life. They're going to have different situations. They're going to have different circumstances, different outcomes. Everybody don't grow the same. Everybody don't relate the same. So every woman that I come in contact with, I cannot say that she's the same woman that just left my seat before. I
Mm,
have to have the listening ear to hear her and to understand, okay, she's not the same person that I dealt with when we was in church. This is a whole totally different outlook. She's going through something totally different. So at this point, she doesn't need the minister, because we deal with a lot of stuff in ministry where people have been hurt. Like they say, that is the hospital where the sick come in. But
right.
when I'm coaching you, I'm no longer going in your past. Although that the past tries to peak and show itself, I'll allow you a little space for that. But as coaching, I deal with the present and the future. So I will take what some things that you say in your past, but I don't allow you to dwell on it. I ask you from that past, let's bring that up to the present. What was in that past that we can find a nugget from to take you to the present and apply that now so it will help you in the future. I don't let you stay in the past, because the past is what propelled you to the future part of the present on where you are now. And I need to take that present to push you over into the future. We don't need to get stagnated in the past. That's not what a coach does. I present to you your present state and I help you get to your future on the place where you really want to be. And so when it comes to ministry, I may have to dig into the past, but I don't need that when I'm coaching. I need
Mm,
you out of the past to propel you to the next level.
I like that. Okay, I can see the difference now. But
Mhm.
so it's almost like you're it's a rehabilitation state.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're trying to say, look, we're not dwelling on what's behind us.
That's
We're
right.
if we're in a rehabilitation state, we're trying
Mhm.
to, push forward. We're trying to,
Right. Right.
get
As
past
my
something and move forward. Yes.
Right. As like my life coaching business is Gwendolyn's Restoration Life Coaching. That is
Ooh,
something that the Lord gave to me. And the reason for that is because a lot of times restoration has to come, whether it was from past hurt, whether it was from a letdown, whether it was from someone that you lost. And a lot of times we look at loss just as a death. But anytime you're in a relationship, if it has departed, that's death. If you are in
yes.
a job that you thought that was the best thing that you had, and now you have to separate from that job, that is a loss. That is like a death. So something has to be restored We have to,
Mhm.
and not just death. You have to be restored. And when something is taken from you, or it seems as if you lost that thing, we have to restore you and put something into place so that you can go to the next level and not stay in that past or in that stagnant place so that you can't propel to the next level. And so that's what
Mhm.
that coaching does for you. It helps you move beyond that, and let's go to a better place. Let's take all those things that you thought that broke you, but simply it just remolded you so that you can be restored and go to the next level in life.
Ooh, Gwen, that's so good, girl. That is so good. We always hear that term, from surviving to thriving. That's what
Yes.
makes me think of it. When you're saying all this stuff, it's like
Hmm.
you take people from just survival mode into
Right.
thriving mode. Like,
Right.
it's, what you think? You think that's exactly what it is?
That's a lot on what it is. But first, you got to get out of the survival mode in order to thrive. And
Yeah.
then when you get ready to thrive, you got to know what you're thriving for. What
Mm,
is it that you're seeking after? What is it that you really want? And you're not going to find that unless you go deep within to
right.
pull out the things that's really supposed to be, in front of you. That's going to help make you for what it is that you want for your future or for the present time while you're right here now. So you can't thrive on something if you can never go within and find the root cause on what caused you to come out of that, put you in that past situation. So you got to look at all of it. We can't just keep going surface. Hey, we want to survive, and so we can thrive. Now, after I survived, now I got to go to thriving, but how do I get there? What are the
Mm,
steps?
that's
What
good.
do I how do I apply coming out of survivor mode? How do I apply what was in survivor mode to my present tense so that I can go to the future? Because you can tell me I'm out of survival mode, but nobody has given me an application to use so that I can thrive.
Ooh. So yeah, so you're like that GPS. You guiding them,
Yes.
sis. You
Yes.
giving them resources, the tools or whatever. So with that being said, are you oftentimes giving them homework assignments when you're
Yes.
attached to somebody that you're
Yes.
coaching, mentoring? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Hmm.
so what's that like when you're telling them, hey, this is some things I need you to work on, and how are you grading them, or how are you assessing the situation when you're sending them out on assignments, for things?
What happens is when we get into that coaching stage, first I listen to the person to find out, what's going on. I'm asking questions. What is your goal? What is it that you want to do? Or what do you think that you want to develop, or the outcome of you coming to me as a coach? What is it that you're wanting? And not what is it that you're just wanting? How much are you willing to give unto yourself? How much of you willing to give up and sacrifice? Because one thing that we understand as coaches, when we talk about money, that's when people are serious about things. When you start playing with people money, we can play with a lot of things, but their money, you're not going to play with that. So if you're paying money to come to a life coach, that means okay, you're really serious about what you're talking about. And so if you're serious about it, then let's go. Okay, for instance, you said that you want to stop smoking. Well, first of all, I need to know what started you smoking in the beginning, because there's a root cause. Because sometimes you can say, well, I really never smoked before. I just started smoking, and and I don't. Okay, what happened? What caused you to start smoking? Well, when I got into this accident, or I broke up with somebody, I just that was the only thing that I had to calm my nerves. Okay, so we need to find out a better way. So smoking is not one of your things that you really want to do. You want to know how to balance yourself in the midst of crisis when it's coming in your life. So smoking was just a habit or something to balance your nerves, but there's other things that you can do to calm your nerves. What about, have you ever thought about going to a park, sitting by the lake? Do you have a journal? Journal. Do you have someone that you can sit down and go out to dinner with? Do you have a safe place where you're able to talk and talk out your emotions without being judged? And I think that is a lot of things that, as far as women, we don't know how to talk to other women, because cliche have said, don't you tell a woman all your business. You got to be careful of that. We've all
Right.
heard that in the past, and that's a lot in our culture. You understand? But if we, and that's something that I had to learn, how to open up to another woman that I am safe with, that I know that I'm not going to be judged. And most women don't know how to come without having a judgment. When somebody feels safe, they can open up to you a lot more. And I present that area and that atmosphere where that woman can feel safe and she can let down her hair and she can begin to tell me, this is what I want, this is what I need, without any judgment.
I love that, and that was the whole point of having creating this platform of Chit Chat podcast, because I wanted women to have a safe space to create and talk and have chatting moments about real life situations, because we go through so much, and then what I've been through might help the next woman. So when we're
Right.
sharing, talking on this platform, I want women to be able to pull from things and network with other women, so that they can get through things without feeling like they're going through it by themselves, or they're going through it alone. Like everything that we've gone through or done, nothing's new is under the sun. So,
Right.
somebody don't experienced it, somebody don't went through it, just
Mhm.
coming out of it or about to go through it. So,
Yes.
those situations, when we're sharing and caring and talking about those things on a platform like this, and what you offer in your environment with coaching, is
Yes.
wonderful for women, because we women, it's hard for us to trust,
Yes.
and it's hard for us to give that trust to somebody worthy of opening ourselves up with vulnerability, saying,
Mhm.
hey, I'm hurting, hey,
Right.
I this kind of hurt, I'm experiencing this kind of grief, this
Mhm.
kind of thing. So I think that's important, that you give that safe space
Yes.
for them to do that as well. Um, when we're talking about discovering a life coach, because we know sometimes it seems so much like a therapist. And
Right.
so when people are trying to discover, like, I need to deal with talking to somebody, whatever, how can they reach out or contact Coach Gwendolyn if they need help in trying to discover if they want to, if they need a life coach, if this is something they need
Right.
in their what resources that you can give to say, hey, this is what is available to you in my coaching, in
Mhm.
my life professional. So life, what are some things that people can discover if they're trying to decide if they need to go see their pastor, their life coach, or
Right.
whoever?
But they can always reach out to me at Gwendolyn's Restoration Life Coaching. It's on Facebook, or my email, gkcoaching22@yahoo.com. I'm still working on a website at this moment, but you can reach me by messenger through my business or through email. You can reach out that way. And you made a statement, and that's something that I want to talk about just a second, if you would allow me.
Go
When
ahead. Go ahead.
therapist and a coach, and when we talk about counseling, and that's one thing that people have to most people don't understand. A life coach, a therapist, and a counselor, somebody that a counselor is totally different. That
Mhm.
therapist and that counselor, they will take you back in the past so that they can try to help you deal with the trauma, those triggers, those different things to that nature. Where the coach would actually come in. And a lot of times, if that person has a therapist or a counselor and you have a coach, you have a dynamic team, because now you have a full overall balance, because some people don't just necessarily just need the coach alone, but they need someone to take them back in the past so that they can deal with that trauma. Because if you don't deal with some of that trauma first, you can come to me as a coach and I may not be able to assist you because it's so heavy weighted on you as the trauma, the crisis, that you need somebody that is structured as a counselor and as a therapist. But as a coach, you're coming to me. Guess what? You're saying, now I'm ready to move on from the past. I'm ready to, propel to the next level. Hey, man, I was stuck in the mud there, but now it's time for me to go forward. That's what I would come in at as far as trying to help you as a coach. And that's when you would decide, okay, that's what I need. That's
Oh,
what I
yeah.
need. If you're
That's
saying that
like straps up,
right,
like
and
trying to
I
get to
need
work.
healing, right. If you're saying
Mhm.
that, okay, I need healing, I need somebody to hear me. I need somebody to really listen to me, to know what I went through as a child or what I went through this particular thing. You need a counselor or a therapist. But when you say, girl, listen, I'm tired of dealing with that. ready to propel to the next level. I need somebody to hold me accountable. I need some goals. I need a strategy. I need a balance to go forth. What can you do for me? I'm your coach. You can
I
come to
love
me and I
I
can
love
help the restoration that you need.
I love it. And it's so important because, a lot of times we get caught up because we don't know.
Yeah,
And because of our ignorance, we don't know. We be like, oh, that's just a therapist, or that just, that's just a
right,
counselor or
right.
whatever. When you made those distinct like differences in
Mhm.
what you provide as a coach, what a
Right.
therapist counselor provide, it makes a world of a difference when people are trying to decide what is it that I need, and
Right.
decide who I need to channel my direction to get
Mhm.
where I get to. So
Right.
um I think it's important that people understand the difference and know that as well. So
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Oh my God. I want to give you the opportunity. I know you mentioned earlier in the beginning of your interview about your mentor.
Mhm.
So, everyone that came on the podcast, I've given them an opportunity to share with us the most influential women who've been in their lives. Because a lot of times we look back on it and say, well, I'm here in this moment, but I didn't get here by myself.
Ooh.
There's been some people who've been praying and pushing and
Yes.
covering me, along the way. And I'll be remiss if I said I got here, and nobody, helped me get through to this point. So I've been giving people the opportunity to highlight those people, and especially women, because it's Women History Month, that's been very influential in their life and how they have accomplished what they've accomplished based off the contribution of these people pouring into them. So I'm gonna give
Yeah.
you the same opportunity, and if it's more than one person, you get shout out everybody.
Well, the first, my mentor, my pastor, Dr. Yolanda Payne. When I tell
Mhm.
you the blessing that God dropped in on me, when I say that He ordained her for my life, and the time that I was going through a crisis, and when He brought her in my life, girl, when I say God was an on time God, my goodness, He is an on time God. And when it comes to ministry and life coaching, the things that she has instilled in me as a woman minister, a lot of times, we don't have that training. We look at it, a lot of times, we would think, well, I know what God told me, I have this gift and I have that gift. But if you don't have anyone to try to teach you how to perfect the gift that you have, if they don't,
Equip
if
you.
you haven't walked
Yes.
this road before, then
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what you're doing and you're walking in it blindly. You understand what I'm saying? And so for someone to take you up under their wing and to teach you, and not only teach you, but they set the example, and that's something that she has always done. She did not just talk the talk, she
She walked
walked the walk, the accountability. I have seen her when there were men and other people, and some women that have come against her for standing in the road that she stands in, and yet again I still see her go forth and preach the word of God. I see her go forth into the corporate world. I see her go for now she's Carnegie Hall, all these places. You understand what I'm saying when I say that I sit up on a trailblazer and somebody that holds me accountable for every single thing, every move that I make. I am grateful for it. Do you hear me?
yes.
I could not be where I am now as far as a minister, a life coach, uh, owning some of the businesses that I'm owning, and going into some of the other arenas that I'm going into now. If it had not been for her, because baby, I wasn't easy to work with now. I was not easy to work with. I had a hard head with some things, but she didn't care anything about my hard head because she knew the greatness and what God had said about me. And she
Yeah.
said she would not let me let up from it. And the thing about that is, as that type of mentor, I am highly blessed, and I'm blessed twice simply because I got to see my mother come on board, and for my mom to stand up in front of a church and tell them, Dr. Yolanda Payne, I am so grateful as
Oh.
that you took my child up under your wing. I didn't know what to give her in this aspect. She was different, but I didn't know what she needed. But I thank God that He allowed you to come into her life, mentor her, train her. And so when I had my birth mother and my spiritual mother,
That's
my
gonna make
mentor, my coach, and they're in unison together, I had a whole bomb. When they
mm-hmm.
say, is there not a bomb in Gilead? Baby, it was a bomb in Moultrie. Do you hear me? I had the
Yes.
best. I had the best, and I'm grateful for that because my mother understood that there was something as a woman in leadership she could not give me. And so to honor her, to honor my mentor in front of a whole congregation as I was first being licensed back in 2010, and to know that she was grateful for this woman taking me up under her wing, it is a blessing for me. I would not give it any other thought. And so for me, so that was done for me, and it continues to be done for me. I want to do it for someone else, another young lady, to understand that there are women out here that love you for who you are, the broken pieces, everything that you have. Baby, you're beautiful. You're still a rose, as they
Mm-hmm.
say. You're still a
Broken
rose, and
and
you you
still
you,
color.
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That rose stem has some thorns on it, but guess what? We know how to overcome those thorns, and some of those thorns is what's propelling you to the next place where you're supposed to be. Some of the
Yes.
to be removed, but it keeps you humble and understand I need somebody in my life to hold me accountable. We need
Yeah.
that. And it's just a blessing to see you. It's a blessing to see you thriving the way that you're thriving. When I look back, girl, this is home team. This is home team. And when I see you thriving the way that you're thriving, guess what? There was it was no mistake. There was something good in Moultrie, and we're seeing it. We're
Oh
seeing
my
it, and I'm
gotta say
glad to
that.
be a part of it. Glad to be a part of it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, sis. I appreciate those
You
sentiments.
are
But
welcome.
I love the fact that your mother gave her that opportunity to
Yes,
know that because as parents, sometimes we can't give our kids everything that they need.
right.
And my prayer is when I can't, that God will send the right people in my children's lives who are going to
Yes,
be part of their village, who's going to equip them, who's going to have their best interests at heart and all that. And that's what a praying mother does. Because
yes,
we're not going to be at every place. We're not going to be everywhere, but our prayers can go where we can't go. And so
absolutely.
when we do that, then God send people like Dr. Yolanda Payne in your
Yes. Oh
and
my God.
provide those things that are needed that we might be having missing in other parts of our lives. So that is beautiful, and I'm glad that you shared that. And I hope when she sees this podcast, make sure you share this with her. When she sees this podcast, she understands the importance that she's poured into you, and now
Yeah.
you're able to pour into somebody else and other women that are benefactors of what she's done and what she's been to you in your life. I love it.
Yes.
I definitely love it.
Yeah.
So, was there anybody else did you want to highlight, or is that
Well, there were some ladies, Miss McCants, Miss Phyllis Harris, those ladies that come in years ago when I was in high school, cheering and different things of that nature. When there was something that I needed and it could not be provided at home, I have to shout those ladies out. Miss McCants, Miss Phyllis Harris, those ladies come in and they would pour into me. They did that. Miss Davis, Miss Shirley Davis, they all did that for me. They let me know that the road that I was on, they wanted to be a part of that. And because of that, I'm still here and I'm going different places because I seen those women in education decided to say she's not lost. She's not
right?
lost. She's not lost at
I,
all. No,
I
there's hope for
shouted
her.
I shouted out some of those women last week. I think it was. I was talking about the
Oh
Women's
wow.
Federated Club. Yeah, I was
Wow.
talking about the Women's Federated Club, and I was talking about we had a etiquette coach on last week, and I was telling her how important it is that our kids don't lose that etiquette and
Yes.
knowing how it is to act and behave in our character, how, what we basically do can carry us so far.
Yes.
I and I always give the testament of my son. He was such a busybody growing up,
Hmm.
and nowhere in the world I thought he would be at Yale University, because how he was acting up in class. And my sister used to have to go sit in his classroom, or they would call my sister because she was the TT that didn't play. So they would call my sister and she would go take him to the bathroom, spank him, and then send him back to class, kind of thing. And had no way in the world knowing how he would end up where he is. But it's because when we got that behavior and that character and the etiquette stuff in place,
Yes.
it takes you so far,
Hmm.
because when people see that you know how to behave, you know how to act, like you got some sense, all this kind of stuff, it makes a world of difference. And I gave credit to those women in Women Federated Club because they poured into us as little
They
girls.
did. Absolutely.
Started out in setters and in Coretta Scott King Girls Club. I mean, we had speaking classes to do speaking competitions and different
Yes.
things they wanted us, debutante stuff, so the different things that we did, back then, that we probably thought was so minute and not important. It's important now, because those are things that I remember when I started my event um, company and business, when I had to set tables and do place settings and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. All
Right.
that stuff came back to my remembrance because these
Yeah.
women was pouring into us as little girls. So it's
Absolutely.
important that we let them know how important in the poem, "Don't Quit." They made us memorize. We thought that was the worst thing ever. And now when I see that poem around everywhere and I'm reciting it so proudly, because I'm like, they taught us and made us memorize this poem. And when I look
Right.
back over life, I thank God, because I'm like, I've never quit it. And quitting wasn't
That's
in
right.
me, but that poem reminds me of that situation when they taught us that. And we thought it was the
Hmm.
worst thing ever, but it was
Right.
something that was planting that seed early. And
Right.
those of us who took that seed and let it get watered along the way, now we can appreciate it. So,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
I hope that those Miss McCann, Dr. and those other women appreciate the sentiments that you gave them on today. And I want to take the time out and thank you for joining us on Chit Chat Pod on Women's History Month,
Thank
and
you.
giving us the opportunity to showcase you as one of our highlighted women for the month.
Thank
And
you.
with your business as Coach Gwendolyn Knighton with Restoration.
Gwendolyn's Restoration Life Coaching.
Gwendolyn Restoration Life Coaching. And if people need to reach out to you, um, give us the information that they can contact you on, and we'll post that in our Chit Chat Pod group, so that they can contact you if needed.
Absolutely.
Okay. So is there, you said you're working on the website, but they can reach out to your Facebook group.
Yes, they can reach out to my Facebook page, Gwendolyn's Restoration Life Coaching. You can message me there, as well as my email, gkcoaching22@yahoo.com. You can email me at any time.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, thank you for joining Chit Chat Podcast for our episode of Women History Month, and highlighting you. Chit Chat Pod is a women podcast, and we chat all things women. So
Yes.
please make it a opportunity to come back and visit us on another segment if you can. We would love to have you. And make sure that we get your contact information. We like to send you a gift from Chit Chat Podcast for being one of our guests.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. Thank you all so much for having me.
No problem. So before we end, I always like to end with a quote. I do, because it's Women History Month. So I would like to end with a women's quote. So let me pull that up, because I've been doing it every week. So I figure I got to keep doing it. So when you start something, you be like, yeah, I got to finish it, because I
I,
started.
I was gonna say, oh, you're definitely gonna finish it out.
Yes, I got to finish it out. So our women's quote today is going to be, nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. And that's by Marie Curie. That says, nothing in life is to be feared. It's only to be understood. And I
Yeah,
think that's very important, because as women, once we feel like we're understood,
right.
no fear in the world. We'll go conquer the world
We
when we
will.
we're understood, and especially when we're working together with other women as well. So
Absolutely.
we're better in numbers, and teamwork makes the dream work. So when women are united, you just have to watch out because we're a force to be reckoned with.
Oh yes, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, thank you again, Coach Gwendolyn Knighton. I appreciate you, sis. Love you to death. You already know that. Well, love you to life. I don't want to say to death. Love you to life. But please come back and see us on another episode or another segment. We would love to have you, and you're welcome to come anytime. And
I will.
look, we might have to reach out to you if we have some segments when we're dealing with other stuff, and we might need a life coach. So I might have to pull you on a panel to do some talking, in that aspect. So if you're open to that, we would love to have you for that.
Thank you so much. I would be honored. I would be honored. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Well, thank you again. And Chit Chat Pod, it's been great. We will conclude this month with our Women History Month. Women advocating for diversity, equity, and inclusion is the 2024 theme. Catch us next month as we start a new theme of the month and have some other opportunities and visitors that will be coming on and chatting with us. So, with that being said, we will see you guys next week. You guys have a blessed Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, and a good Friday this Friday. So, see you. Thank you.